to the latest episode of Trader Talks, where today we are focusing in on Bitcoin by popular demand. Please do remember to like, share, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching or listening, I should say, on the podcast, remember you can click the link to join us. A quick lowdown of Bitcoin so far. Year-to-date performance, 110%. 1 year performance, 86%. In the last 3 months is up 16%, but in the last month it is up 27%. The weekly range, the 52 weekly range, goes to 15,500 on the lows to 35,900 on the highs. Without wasting too much time, let's have a look at the chart just to see, where next for this market. It's had such a strong year. And for those that are listening on the podcast, remember you can click that link to see we've had some really, really strong weeks in recent times, albeit last week, not much happened. But where next? And what I would really be focusing on if I'm a trader is the levels above where we're trading. And then we'll go to the support. So if we go back to sort of May time last year, we had a very big fall from Grace, which was a very good area of support. We haven't retested that yet. So when I look at this as a trader, I'm thinking, well, if we go back there, what a great place to take some profit. Now, that's not to say if I'm an investor, I'm going to come out, because I don't think it's going to go higher. It's more if it gets to that point and starts to come lower, I'm going to have a little bit of patience because of the short-term nature of what traders might do. If we are to get above 36,982, where do I think the next real key level would be? I'd be eyeing up around 45,400. Reasons for that: back in the same year as we were talking about in 2022, before we actually broke lower. So in early March, you can see it was very, very strong resistance once, twice, 3 times, could argue 4, 5 times before that, all on weekly chart. And you can also see it was support before we broke through, before retesting as well. So it's a very, very key level. They would be the two that I'd really be focusing in on. Let's just call it 37,000 and let's call it 45,500. Those would be the key support levels to the upside, where I think the short-term traders would be looking to book some profit. I'm not necessarily seeing the sellers overtaking and driving us all the way low, but that's an opportunity for them to do so. Now, to the downside, where would I really be focusing in on? And to do that, I'm going back to March 2021, May 21, July as well. You can see a really lovely area of support around 30,000. We almost hit it again around 32,000. Then when we finally broke through, you can see it then acted as resistance for the leg lower that we saw down to the lows from November last year. So 32,000 has been very, very key. Then this year, what's happened? We've gone up, we've hit it, we've come back lower. We've gone up, we've hit it, we've come back lower. Simple support and resistance, but people look at it. We know how much, how influential psychology is when we look at levels, and sentiment can change so quickly. Above it, bullish; below it, bearish. And that's almost what's happened here, is that we finally, on the 5th time of asking, broken above 30,000, 32,000. So what happens next is going to be very, very interesting. Does it have to come back a little bit lower before we then push higher? Or is it actually going to go to that next resistance level? What I would say is, for the traders out there, if you're not in a position, this is probably where you don't really want to enter the market. Because, of course, if it does go lower and then stops you out, it's a big loss. But, you don't really need to go chasing this, is what I'm saying here. I would be patient and either wait for 32,000 if I was a trader, or I'd wait for the next level to go before getting in. But at the moment, it seems very, very mid-range. Let me know in the chat what you're all thinking. Where is Bitcoin going to finish the year? I mean, it looks great. Reasons behind it, we can put it down to the spot ETF. We can put it down to a little bit of a flight to quality. We can put it down to recent dollar weakness, risk markets having a good week last week. But this happened all before. So it's been on a good run, and it's fairly well respected this year technically. 24,000, resistance once, resistance twice, breaks through, comes down, support once, support, twice, 3, 4, 5 times as well. So a very technical chart to the upside, as I mentioned, just to wrap this up. 37,000, very important. 45,400, very equally important as well. I'd also keep an eye, obviously, on 50,000, 52,000, should we get there, along with some other sort of midterm levels. But it looks good to the upside right now. When does it not look as good? If we go back below 30,000, reason being, below 30,000, you can see what happens. These moves really do push on to the downside. But right now, I think Bitcoin traders are going to be very, very happy. Let me know in the chat if there's any particular markets you want covered. But until next time, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you all very shortly.